What's up, everyone? And heads up for Wally and Nick. People are going to have to catch this replay on Facebook because I didn't realize it, but my Facebook is connected because I'm currently in Facebook jail. So
really?
Yes.
You, Holly?
What did you say?
So we're live on YouTube, and then I'm going to repost the replay on Facebook for everyone to view there. So yeah, I just got the alert because last week when we were in St. Thomas, I log into Facebook and it says like features have been disabled. You know, you're going against our community standards. And I'm like, first I'm thinking my account got hacked because, you know, I'm traveling and stuff. And I mean, I don't do anything bad. And at least I don't think I do. And come to find out, it was a post from back in November. It was a Jeffrey Dahmer meme
really?
that said, nobody's going to tell me how many people I can have for Thanksgiving. So it was kind of my morbid sense of humor. But yeah, I guess they backtracked it back in November and they put me in Facebook jail for like 14 days.
4-month lag for punishment. That's tough.
Yeah. So I can't apparently go. Oh, I can't go live. That's why I can't go live. I was thinking StreamYard might be a workaround, but I can't go live and I can't post ads for 14 days.
Wow. So we're going live on YouTube right now then.
Yeah. Yeah, we're live on YouTube, and I'm blocked from Facebook, so I'm going to take this and upload it and tag everybody in it too. So
sounds like a plan.
Yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, you guys watch out for those memes. You might get in Facebook jail like I did. But yes,
I see a lot crazier memes. I'm so surprised that puts you in Facebook jail.
And it wasn't that bad. It was just a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer and it said that, but whatever. We're here and I'm super excited because we've been working to get this special guest on with us for Wally. How long? How many years?
I don't know. How many times did I have to ask you, I guess is the question.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Listen, I know you're busy. I'm just kidding. I really appreciate you having me here today for sure.
That's why we have Holly as the gatekeeper, right?
She won't tight rein on things. I don't blame her.
Well, I'm super excited because Wally is literally like the OG when it comes to content creation and just really being a magician when it comes to crafting the right messaging, the right anything from subject lines to content. I mean, Wally is literally the content OG king on that. So super excited to have you on, Wally.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Let's kick it off. So our topic is talking about, you know, why do businesses need content and how do you go get it?
Right. Well, why do you need content? Well, I mean, we're in a much different world now. It's funny. I was talking with, and again, thanks so much to you guys for letting me join you today. You know, it's funny. I was talking with somebody who had been in the business for a long time, you know, and I got in the business back in 98. And back in 98, you know, the internet had only started, was it what, April of 1995 is really when it hit the ground for businesses. Wow. And so, yeah, right. 30, you know, long time ago. So, I'm sorry, 26 years ago, right? So it was, anyways, 95. Yeah, 95. So April of 95.
Yeah,
and so
I mean,
like
25 years ago.
Yeah,
I know that did it really well. Yeah, I was like, wait, I'm not 30 yet. Come on, Wally.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think you are, sir. I apologize in advance. So we were talking, and back then, you know, there was no Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com, and the big thing back then is, remember, Holly, you probably remember this, just from, you know, being part of Jay's team, is having a kick butt website was the really big deal, and your website was everything, right? Because you had to be able to brand, you had to be able to generate leads, you had to get them to convert, you got to get them to become leads, and so, you know, it was a totally different type of thing. Now nowadays, you know, you can show up anywhere and you can be online in perpetuity, right? So anything you put online not only gets there, but it stays there, right? Forever. People can find it forever for better or for worse, right? I mean, we found that out at the beginning of this event, right? So 4 months later, she gets the Facebook cuffs locked on her. So that's tough. So anyway, it's important because, you know, and listen, you've got two sides to the coin here, right? Gary Vaynerchuk, what does he say? Go put out video. Doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Just put it out there, right? Because people need to see you. And that's how people connect with you, right? Video has become probably the preferred way of connecting with people. And that, you know, it's good. But the fact of the matter is you need to do more than just video, right? You've got to be able to establish your credibility, show people that you have a brain. And also you've got to be able to connect with folks, you know, and videos are what, 3 to 5 minutes long in most cases, right? You know, unless you're staying there too long. So you get 3 to 5 minutes to say something. Usually it's very topical, but fact of the matter is you have to have other stuff that people can see from you, right? And So there's, there's articles, there's surveys, there's and all kinds of stuff that you can get from all kinds of different places that you can put on there, which are going to make a big difference. And this is my personal opinion. I love having a personal page, but you can only go to 5,000 people, right? So you need a fan page, you need a business page, right? So, but what are you going to put on there on a day-over-day basis, and how are you getting people to engage with you? How are you going to educate people? How are you going to go ahead and establish yourself as an expert, which I know your book program, right? So clearly you understand that, right, Nick? Because you're helping people with writing a book so they can establish credibility, right, for their clients, right, products, right? So you understand that. Holly obviously understands that. So, you just have to be super resourceful. And so, if you go look at Lisa Cole's Facebook page, Lisa's client of ours, she's in XP, she's a friend of the family, right? It's like, right. But, so Kitchens I worked with her, and we kind of set out a strategy where it's like, hey, listen, every Sunday, sit down and plan your week, right? And figure out what articles you're going to post, figure out what videos you're going to record. Obviously, if something pops up, like for instance, interest rates go down, that should be on your page as soon as it happens, stuff like that. But also, you have to speak to what your buyers and sellers want, right? So we know that, right? Normally, buyers want a selection, they want a good price, they want ease of doing business. Sellers want their price, they want to meet their time frame, and then they want ease of doing business. And then in between those are on sellers, like the 10 things you need to do to prepare your home for sale, and why you want to hire real estate to negotiate your home inspection. So make things that fall in between that, if you will. And so it's not hard. You just have to be resourceful, and you got to put a plan together, right? So I think that's the biggest thing is people get so overwhelmed. I got to record video, and I've got to go I've got to find all this stuff and everything. And then, quite honestly, if you put a plan together, and every Sunday you sit down for an hour and say, I'm gonna create these videos, and I'm gonna put this stuff up there. And then if you have an admin, you have your admin put that stuff up there. Work on asking good questions, work on getting engagement, and then making sure when somebody, puts something on there that you respond to them. So kind of globally, from a 10,000 foot view, I think that's kind of like the initial thought process for me. That's what I have all my coaching clients do, so they can really start to establish a good presence online and get some content out there. And, it doesn't always have to be all yours.
100%.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Nick. I was just thinking, like, something popped in my head as soon as you were talking about, your personal page, but then you also have to have your public figure page or your business page, whichever route you want to go with. So I have a client, and, we were reviewing their social media strategy, and we noticed that it was in the red. So I'm like, okay, obviously, they're putting out great content. Why is it in the red?
Can you define, what do you mean when you said it's in the red? Are you talking about what they're putting into it?
So the statistics the insights on Facebook were down. So like the engagement, the views, the reach, everything was kind of 1 week it was in the red. So I'm like, okay, why is this? Because they put out great content. It's very intentional, very purposeful. And I'm going back and looking, and they were scheduling, which is great. You always want to schedule your post, just like Wally had said, when you can. But when they were scheduling it, it was like at 8 a.m. every day. And if you go into Facebook, this is what I absolutely love about Facebook pages, is you can go in your insights, and you can go through there and track your audience. So like, of course, we all know that there's statistics out there showing us that Wednesdays at 10 and 2 are the best days to post in general, right? However, you have your own audience. So, that's a great fundamental to go out when starting out. But this page, they had years of data and stuff. So they had an audience. But we go back and we look at the insights, and we realize that the best times for their audience is at 10 a.m. or at 6 p.m. Those are the peaks of their times. So understanding your own audience, I think, is key too when you're posting and scheduling out things. So we started, tweaking the times from, when they had it scheduled at 8. So we started doing some at 9, 10, maybe some at 5, 5:30. So we kind of changed around the time. And the next week, sure enough, everything was back in the green again. So it's very important not to only understand, statistics that you see that come out annually. And I know there's some great ones out there, but understanding you have the power to know your own audience, when they're online and when they're engaging with your content. And that's when you start kind of scheduling around, saying, okay, my audience is active at 10 a.m. I better be going live at 10 a.m. or super important announcements that I want them to consume better go at that time. So I just wanted to drop that little tip too in there, because it's I think that's a huge, insights is a great opportunity that I think a lot of people overlook from time to time. But understanding your own statistics is huge.
It sounds like a big tip, not a little tip.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I was going to say.
I'm so used to it. So to me, it's like a little, but we get so, you know what I mean? We're in the weeds. To us, it's normal. But then talking to them, they're like, we had no clue. And I'm like, oh, so let's, change the strategy.
Right. And, a lot of times when you're in it so much, there's those little things that you do every day that are so important that until you talk to somebody else, do you realize, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is why it's so important.
Yeah.
And for the record, I'm trying to get my lace right since I'm on my phone. I have the worst drop shadow on my face right now, but we're just going to run with it. But, when we first start out with clients, a lot of times we're so caught up in the mindset of what's the best time to post. And when you don't have that data, I tell them it's not about the time, it's about how many times. We need to be consistently posting content and getting in front of our audience. So, a big question, Wally, I want to ask you, a big question we get all the time is where do we find the topics? How do we find the information to shoot videos, to do articles, and, target the audience?
Okay. That's a great question. So here's the great thing. There's hope for everybody who wants to write. I get a D in English. So,
I would have never guessed that, Wally.
My mom was a school teacher. I got a D for a semester, and I was grounded for the rest of the year. So I was terrible. So yeah, when your mom's a school teacher, getting a D does not mean dandy, I can assure you. So anyway, I got a D, and so I majored in English in college, and so I've been writing.
Wow.
Forever, but Mike and Jay, we've done a lot of work with them. I've written for a lot of people, a lot of different industries over time. Probably, I worked in the mutual fund industry in the marketing communications department. I wrote for about 3 years there. So I'm pretty fortunate. Got a ton of writing experience, probably since 1996. But not everybody has that, and a lot of people don't like to write. So the good news is there's so many resources for you where you can either learn how to write, and it's not that hard, or you can go and get information. So for instance, PLRs. You guys know what PLRs are?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't.
So they're called private label rights. Okay, and basically, there's a truckload of industries where people like me go and write a book, articles, pamphlets, white papers, and they sell them for you can buy an entire book for like $5, and they give you full rights, resell rights, change the cover rights, whatever you want to do. So they're called PLRs. If you Google PLR, you'll get like 1.5 million responses. There's there's like the PLR factory, the PLR this, and so there's lots of stuff that's already out there that's written, either that's long enough where you could chop it up and do like a 3-part series on it or something like that, or small enough for you to put out as an article. You make it yours, and so it's good stuff. Now, and I think you can copy and paste too, throw a logo on there, happy as a clam. So that's one way to get a lot of good, consistent information. The other thing is you got to go where the information is, right? So, Realtor.com, Inman News, those are two huge places to go. CNBC, Fox News, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. They all have online, outlets where you can go and find stuff, right? And then there's more like, than like HGTV, Better Homes and Gardens, and other magazines like that, Design Magazine. There's all kinds of different places you can go to find things, and here's the thing. This is my philosophy. And when I work with my coaching clients, you don't have to do something until you pay somebody to do it. You can pay somebody to do it. So as soon as you can pay somebody to go ahead and do this, you do it yourself. But what you do is you create your SOPs, you record them, you get them translated at transcribed at rev.com. Somebody comes in, this is what I do, right? But, in the meantime, that's what you got to do. And so to your point, we have to know who our clients are. We have to know when they're most active, and we're going to connect with them. And if we're in a niche of some sort, we've got to be able to deliver information that's really specific to that niche, right? So now you can get a designation as a senior provider of real estate for senior citizens, right?
Right.
So you're certainly not going to put stuff in there about startup homes and starter homes and
first-time home buyer. Right.
Yeah, how to decorate your 5,000 square foot house. It's totally different, right? So, how to transition to an assisted living facility, or how to sell your home and maximize your equity so you can downsize, or whatever. So whatever your niche is, you got to make sure you're continually sending stuff to those people that's completely in line with what they want. So, and then the other thing is your cadence. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to put all articles. You don't want to put all videos. You don't want to put all statistics. You want to mix it up a little bit. And I've got kind of when you're ready, I've got kind of a list that I have my clients go through so that they can make sure that they get a nice rotation of all the different things that they need to put on there, so that your clients get variety, so that you're likely to catch with something for somebody who wants a video, looking for an article or something like that, you know, and then whatnot. So whenever you want me to go through that, I'll go through that for you, because there, in my opinion, there's kind of a minimum requirement for what you need to put out there on a consistent basis. And then I don't know who's watching this, but I would love for you guys to talk a little bit about strategies to improve the number of people that follow and like you on your Facebook page, because I've got clients who put great stuff on there and they got 222 people on their page.
Yeah.
And like continually saying, hey, we've got to go. And I have one strategy, which I'm sure you guys already employ, but, you know, to get people on there. But we, you know, you've got to get lots of people on there. Otherwise, you know, you're putting all this stuff out there for not for nothing, but you're not getting the yield you would want, you know?
Yeah. And before we get into that, I have one really quick question for you, Wally. I have one quick question. So you said you were working in a lot of different industries. What was something that you pulled from another industry and brought into real estate?
Well, I worked in the mutual fund industry for a long time.
Right.
And I was a wholesaler and an inside wholesaler. So one of the things that we did when I was a wholesaler is, you know, they called it our Centurion group, which means we had to find 100 people, 100 agents that we could get at least $1 million a year from in business. Right. So what I started doing with my clients is I said, hey, listen, we put together a past client sphere strategy. It's got a combination of you know, sending out a monthly market report, sending out a birthday card with a $5 Starbucks gift card, which, by the way, is like sending them a brick of gold for some reason. So, I don't understand it, but it works like a champ. So I guess after you turn 21, you only have like about 6 more birthdays to celebrate, possibly, right? 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and then, you know, possibly 80. So I guess somebody paying attention to you on your birthday and giving you something we haven't gotten a gift in a while is huge. But people love it. And then, you know, a quarterly phone call, quarterly handwritten note, you know, one annual event, and then, you know, Thanksgiving pies, you know, Valentine's Day candy. And, you know, the linchpin in all of it is the phone calls and the handwritten notes, because a lot of agents, you know, they'll go into the grocery store, they'll run into somebody, oh, I sold my house. Oh, great. Thanks. I'm so happy for you. Right. And, you know, why did you call me? They're like, well, you know, so it's, you know, it's your responsibility. And so the one thing that's missing for most agents, I don't want to belabor this, but the one thing that's missing for most agents strategy is that relationship. I mean, think about it. You know, if you're married, you get a boyfriend, you got a girlfriend, you know, whatever, significant other. I mean, how good would your relationship be if you didn't communicate with them on a consistent basis? And so that seems to put it over the edge. So anyway, so I'm like, hey, listen, let's take, you know, there's about 62, 63 working days in a quarter, Mondays through Fridays. So I'm like, let's take 250 people that we know we have good relationships with, or if we have to top grade and get people out and pull people in, we make 4 phone calls a day. You can leave messages, because the message is just as powerful as a phone call, to let somebody know you're thinking about them, and send out a handwritten message. And it's been invaluable to my clients. So that's probably one of the better ideas that I brought over from the mutual fund industry. So, which worked well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. So yeah, let's talk about Facebook pages and growing your audience on there. This is something, you know, I'll be honest, like Facebook, I love personal pages because you can really connect with people. And what was it, about 3 or 4 years ago when Zuckerberg said, okay, well, Facebook we need to go back to the basics and go back to community. And then they started really shifting the algorithm to kind of hide company pages unless if you're paying to play. So for me personally, you know, like I will utilize my public figure page for like running ads, you know, putting some business stuff on there. But I really, right now, I can't run ads, but you know, for me, it's interesting because like, I feel like you have to pay to really get in front of people whenever you have a business page. The only person I know that's doing it without paying is Jay Kinder. And that's just because he's so active on his business page. And if you go on Jay's, he's more active on his business page than he is on his other page, because he has his Instagram connected. So I think that Jay's a great like unicorn to kind of look at. I will say that, you know, there is the migrate that Facebook had created. So if you just Google like Facebook migrate page or something like that, I created a little like how-to video on how to do it. So you can
utilize that.
Yeah, you essentially take your page. So I think at the time when I created mine, it was like I had 2,500 friends. So there's this website you go to, and I don't know off the top of my head. So if you guys are listening in and you're curious and you want to know this tutorial, message me and I'll gladly send it to you. But there's this link that you go to that you merge. It's creating essentially a public figure page from your personal page. So it's intended for people who have like the 5,000 mark or hit that 5,000 mark. So I had like 2,500 friends at that time. And once you go to this and you go through this little process of migrating, now you can only do it one time, you will create a public figure page, automatically having your friends like that page. So like when I created my public figure page, I automatically had 2,500 people who liked it. And there were 25 people who obviously knew me because they were my friends on Facebook already. So for me, like that's how it helped create that, that pool of people that already knew. And then from there, you know, people would interact and stuff like that. So that was just kind of one thing that had helped me kind of get my audience that was, I don't want to say organic, but it's organic, right? Because they're already friends. Now, I will say the number one thing to look at, to be aware of, is buying likes and buying engagement, because that's absolutely the worst thing that you could do. At least, and that's my opinion, because you're paying. It's pretty much like buying to be prom king or queen. Like you're buying to be popular. Now, this is just my opinion, so I'm sure there's other people who have other opinions out there. However, I've been in so many, you know, clubhouse rooms. Yesterday, this guy got annihilated because on his profile, he put that he was a marketing, he would put he's a marketing genius or whatever. And then you go on his Instagram, he had 11,000 likes, but when you look at his picture, he only had like 3 likes on his picture. So when the engagement skewed from the number of likes, it's just kind of weird. And there's also things out there like socialblade.com that show you the stats for everyone's page. So like if someone has like 300 new followers one day and then no new followers the next day, it's starting to get exposed, and people are starting to see that and understand. Now, it worked for influencers back in the day, like what's his name, Dan Blitzerin, like the king of Instagram, he got buying likes. So it worked for him though. So like that helped him get where he's at.
Dan Bilzerian got caught buying a lot of things he shouldn't have bought.
Yeah. So that's just my opinion, and I'm just saying it's shifting because people are starting to have tools and stuff to detect that. So at one point in time, it did work for people. Like I knew one girl that was in Clubhouse. She has like 6 million followers. And what got her there was way back in the day, she bought an old account, made it her own, slowly started buying followers, and then it got to where she was at. But that doesn't, in my opinion, I don't know if it would work as much now because of all the different analytics. And then you have Instagram, you know, testing again, hiding the likes and follows. So that's just kind of like my kind of a heads up. I would love to hear you guys' opinion, but it's interesting to kind of see the shift of people finding, you know, sniffing out authentic people and then not authentic people.
Yeah, I feel like there's 2 sides to the coin on that too, right? It's almost one of those fake it till you make it sometimes too, where if you have more followers, if you have more views, if you have some more of that, then more people that come to your page that are organically coming to your page, they automatically think you're an authority, right? Yeah. Because the average person, let's face it, the average person doesn't really even know how to utilize a lot of these tools, let alone go to different websites and go to different places. So I guess to me, it really comes down to who is your audience of people that you're trying to attract, right? Well, if your average person, if you're trying to attract as an agent, isn't as much of the tech person, the marketing person that wouldn't even know where to go to find that, then it might be a little bit more beneficial to spend some money on it. Right?
It's starting like you said, it's starting to be like everyday conversations though, like clubhouse rooms. I've seen multiple clubhouse rooms built just around it. And there's also too, like to me, like people who are attracted to those who like how to gain followers quick or how to do whatever, to me, that's like get rich quick mindset. And I personally would attract a client that, you know, understands it, and people with money, they see that right through it. They see right through it. And people got annihilated, like I said, and even though not a lot of people might not know about Social Blade, but people are starting to pay attention. Like, how do you have like, you know, 100,000 friends, but you have like 3 or 10 or 30 comments on a photo? Like, it just doesn't add up. And to me, like, that's not authentic. And that's just not how, like, you know, I don't know. That's just a personal opinion, emphasis on opinion.
And coming back to the business page too, I 100% agree with you, Holly. If you're not paying to play, it's the paid version of the app, right? So the only time we really utilize our business page mainly is when we're running ads, we're boosting posts to get in front of a certain audience. So I will say this, the way that we built it up and we've helped other people build it up too, man, everybody says email is dead, but I don't know what they're doing to say that. Our email is alive and well. So if we want to grow certain pages, we have links that take them to our certain pages and we have them like and subscribe. Right. So we utilize email a lot of times to kind of navigate where we want to build and where we want to take our audience. So we've been able to do that to grow our business pages as far as as Facebook goes. If you're trying to post content and build a community, I recommend going to the group over a business page.
Yep.
So it just depends what your strategy is.
Yeah.
Fair. It's fair.
Yeah. I really think that migrate tool, if you haven't done it, I think that's huge because it automatically, I know our friend Don Zapia, we went through that process and now he has a page of 2,000 people automatically liked it, and it's people who already knew Don. So it's just Facebook pages are such a pain in my opinion because Facebook wants you to pay money behind ads to be exposed or be, showing in front of people. While I'd love to hear what your thoughts on what you kind of seeing too.
I'm actually going through some of this myself right now as I build up my program for what I'm working on now. So it's just the hardest thing is it's like everything else, like going to the grocery store and buying a can of chicken soup. I mean, there's so many cans of chicken soup, right? There's so many brands, right? Chicken with rice, chicken with stars, low-fat chicken, creamy chicken, right?
Yeah.
Then chicken meatballs. Like there's like 50 cans of types of chicken soup. At some point, too many choices and too many options. So, it's kind of like what did Teddy Roosevelt say? He says, when it's time to make a decision, do the right thing. If you can't do the right thing, do the wrong thing. But whatever you do, don't do nothing, right? Like take some action. Right now, it's what he said. I mean, it makes sense. So,
right.
I really think that, you can, personal page. I mean, I do like your idea about the group page. That makes a lot of sense. The business page, I do like that because it gives you the opportunity to build a following. And then also if you want to run ads afterwards, you can still do that. So you get the flexibility of doing that, so, but, I don't know. I think whatever you choose, consistency is the name of the game.
100%. And showing up too. I think it's super important to show up. Like while we're talking about on like Sundays, or whatever, like pre-planning it out because, even if you don't post to your page, but maybe once a week or whatever, you can't wait like months or years because people are going to think you're out of business.
Once again, you can't build a relationship with somebody if you don't communicate with them on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's so good.
Cialdini talks. Oh, go ahead.
So, I was going to say Facebook, Instagram, these places, these are like the new resume for agents, right? When people are looking up different individuals, they're really going to Facebook and Instagram more than Google. If they're going to look up a business, they're more so going to Google. But an individual, they're going to, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the scary thing is people can create all kinds of false authority and false expertise on Facebook. You can get swindled if you don't do your
100%.
Somebody might have a few dollars that they can invest in something. They can pay services that'll post stuff to your page until the cows come home. You know what I'm saying? You can pay somebody to take nice pictures of you. You can sit there with your iPhone in your car and talk about I'm going to a listing appointment, even though it was your one listing appointment that year. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying you can create a really, really false sense of authority and credibility. So
100%. That's why, like, for me, authenticity is key. You know what I mean? Like, so when it comes to, like Wally was saying, like, you can pay the best people to post whatever, you can Photoshop or you can do whatever you're going to do. But at the end of the day, what's your results and how much is it costing you? I think, Wally, I would love to have you back on because I think right now, obviously, we're talking about content and creating it, but I would like to talk about where does content and conversion, we need to talk about building the bridge in between because you can put out great stellar content all day long, but at the end of the day, if no one's paying, you're going to be out of business within a couple of months. You can't pay rent.
Right.
Agreed.
Views and likes don't pay at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You've got to take those people who are interested and convert them into a client, into a customer, to a raving fan.
100%.
Yeah. I was going to say, I like thinking about social media. I like changing my mindset and thinking of it more so as my social CRM, right? Like my posts, my videos, these articles, that's my drip campaign, right? I'm dripping in front of my audience so that I stay top of mind. I can go on there, I can make phone calls, send video texts, video message. Like I can do everything essentially that a CRM does within each social media platform. So I started thinking about it that way and how I can continue to utilize that instead of going there and scrolling through and looking at a bunch of things. That's social media. But if you go into it intentionally, that's how I look at it as my social CRM. Every post I make, that's my drip campaign to stay top of mind.
Are we at the end of your show?
We can go as long as we want to go. But one thing I want to talk about.
Okay. You had said I want to have you on another time. I'm like, are we already done? I'm like,
oh no. That was I just didn't want to like.
Wally, we heard enough from you, Wally. Let's
listen, that wasn't the first time we've been told to shut up, so I get it, man. I get it.
No, that just triggered
go back to what
I'm thinking. I didn't want to like divert from our actual topic at hand. So I'm just planting that seed.
I got you. Like I'm available anytime.
Right.
You know,
and like, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Nick. I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, going back to the question you had, because I thought that was really good to ask Wally about the conversion from content. Because I know at one point I was shooting a bunch of videos, and I remember Jay called me. He's like, "Hey, what's the goal?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "What's the goal?" And I had no goal. I was just having fun posting a bunch of videos, posting a bunch of things. And then when I realized I was losing time, energy, effort, and money doing this, it became less fun. So what is your opinion? Like, how do you convert from the content, from the social media, from these platforms?
I mean, so and you specialize in that, Nick? Is that your ball of wax?
Essentially, yeah. So I'm curious how you do it. I'm curious, like, what insight that you have, because there's always, like you said, like the chicken noodle soup, right? There's a bunch of different ways to do it that work, but like, what is the way that you have had success doing that?
I mean, I think look, one of my biggest concerns for people when they start doing stuff is they get on video and they start selling right away, and they're like, "Hey, pick me," and I think that you don't have a relationship with somebody, that turns them off immediately, But I think if you've been able to build a good following and create some authority and credibility, and somebody can see your progression and how you've been educating them and helping them, then I think you can build in videos of, hey, listen, 2 weeks ago I talked about the importance of doing the importance of not doing a CMA, and rather using technology. So, here's the thing, let me just go ahead and take you through how I came up with the price for this house or whatever, what I'm saying, which connects with what people need because they want the price of their house. What I'm saying? So you're connecting with the things that people are looking for. Like when you go on a listing appointment, you're there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to give them the price. Their ticket, the fee they have to pay is to listen to your marketing presentation, right? So, you're and then sometimes it's you're showing properties that you have for sale, right? Obviously, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer doing a video walkthrough or talking about the house. I think drone videos are highly underutilized in marketing. I think how great, I don't see any reason why every real estate agent wouldn't do like a 30-second video of just the external of the house that they have, and then like a quick drone video of the neighborhood, and put them all together with a little bit of music, an intro and an outro, and call it a day. I'm saying that you can do that. You can do that with this, for God's sakes. So, but and so there's that sort of thing, because then that shows people, gives you some credibility, right? Yeah, and you initiative, and like sellers want to see that you're doing stuff that's different. They want to see that you're committed to getting their home sold, that you're going to spend money on marketing and time. So, it's that combination of educating and putting the stuff out there for authority, and then literally asking people for some business. I'm saying, hey, listen, and this is why one of my criteria is to put at least testimonial pictures, better testimonial videos. On your Facebook page on a consistent basis, right? Because people can identify with your prospect. You actually accomplished something, and that
pictures over videos.
No, that's I said. I'll take anything. Usually people do pictures, but I'd love a video. But not every one of your clients is going to want to do a video. You know what I'm saying? So right. So does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Another kind of, if you want to amp up, if you have like an audio of it. So like, for instance, I had somebody send me a voice memo talking, like ranting and raving about my story stickers I had created for her.
Right.
So I asked her, I'm like, hey, is it cool if I use it as a testimonial? She was like, absolutely. So what I did is I took that audio, I downloaded it, sent it to Rev for transcription. But now what I'm also going to do too is I'm going to take that, because I will kind of 100 I fail at testimonials. And I feel like a lot of people do. But taking that audio and utilizing it in a platform like Wave, so it's WAVV.co. I'm sorry, WAVVE.co. So you can take an audio and it turns it into a video. So like I could take a picture of her, and you know what I mean? Take a picture of her, make it like a soundbite wave, have the subtitles of what
I wondered how you did that. Yeah.
That's wave.co, WAVVE.co.
That's really cool.
And it's a great way to kind of repurpose that content if you don't have an actual video of it, or you just have an audio or so on and so forth. But yeah, I agree, Wally. Testimonials is something people do not, and I am the number one example. I have so many testimonials and there's not even one posted on my page.
Yeah, and I think something that I picked up on that was really cool, I thought it was a great idea, is at the end when you finally sold this family a home, bringing the photographer back and doing family pictures at the home.
Oh, that's cool.
And of course, giving it to the client, number one, but also that would be your picture that you'd be able to post too, if you want to get a testimonial from them, but just showing another family got another home. I thought that was a great idea for like the closing gift. Just being able to utilize that. So you go there, you take some family pictures at their new home. Those people are going to hold on to that because that's a great memory for them. So I thought that was just a neat idea to be able to use that for yourself and also be able to give it to the client as well.
That was great. Hey, Wally, I have a question for you. So, getting back to content, when it comes to, you coach, you've been coaching for years. I mean, we've already heard, we've actually even shared an iceberg of your experience.
The white beard, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have so many years of experience in coaching clients and stuff. So obviously, your stuff. When it comes to telling your clients, okay, 101 content, what's some important content? And I'm asking you this because I already know the answer. You've shared this with me before of conversations.
101 content. Okay.
101 content. If I was a brand new coaching client coming up to you today and I'm a real estate agent, what types of content would you say, hey, I want to see this on your page?
I like it.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Can you hear my dog? I apologize.
You're good.
You're going to have to wait. I'm talking. I'll be with you in a minute, okay? So anyway.
My dogs too. You're good.
Yep. We'll go out as soon as I'm done. This whole working from home thing, I apologize. I digress. So here's the thing. I kind of give this, I created this list that I can send it to you. But, every time you list a house, you want to post it. Every time you help somebody buy a house, you want to post it. Every time you sell a house, you want to post it. Every time you have a closing, you want to post it, right? So anything related to what you've accomplished, listing or selling a house, helping a buyer buy a house, a closing, and I think one of the mistakes a lot of agents do when they do closings is they have this big key that says the name of the title company or whatever, or their name on it, or they're signed. Like, come up with a cool URL that you can redirect to your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Homes by Hollie, what I'm saying, or something like that, or, whatever, so that they can go to homesbyhollie.com. It's easy to remember. So anything related to helping people buy and sell houses, including testimonials, super, super important. Okay. And then obviously anything that can confirm what's going on in the market, if that makes any sense. Okay. Yeah. So,
can you give us an example?
Market reports, real market reports, here, keeping current matters is awesome, because Holly, you can talk about that too. I mean, they give it every month they send out a 45-page slideshow.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Tons of stuff on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing. Does that make any sense?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
And taking that content too. So like Casey, obviously they have a blog you can repurpose and share, or you can do your videos talking through it and talking about, obviously you want to cite the original source too, which is validation of your talking expertise. But they also have an option too where you can customize with your own branding and stuff too. So that, if you want to take it up to a 201, that's good. But yeah, I remember sales meeting at Jay's office, and that's what we watch every month is their current, their current slideshow or whatever. So yeah, it's super informative. So, taking that, and Wally, I'd love to hear, like, Facebook doesn't like sharing links as much. Obviously, they want you to stay on the platform. So if you share a link, they're going to try to hide it a little bit because it's going to take you away from their platform.
They changed that, though. Did you see that? You can see the link now.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Yep. So I noticed the other day that they're keeping the link in there now. So, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you can. Well, you want to see? Oh, go ahead, Wally. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to finish answering Nick's.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Next question. So in addition to that, so obviously surveys, newsworthy videos from other people, articles obviously that have anything to do with the home selling and home buying process. Like I said, anything that has to do with what's going on in the market, interest rates, home prices, things like that. But one of the things I really love is, and I think this is one of the ways to get more people on your page to grow your authority, is to interview experts in your marketplace. And this is nothing new.
Yes.
There's a whole, there's these people that are made millions of dollars doing, call it guest hosting. I mean, guest podcasting. And, I have my clients, I'm like, at least once a month. I like them to do at least twice a month. Find somebody in your marketplace, either a vendor, the mayor, a councilman, somebody who's got a bigger list than you do, where you can go ahead and interview them, ask them lots of questions, toot their horn, let them sing their praises, get their logo, make them the sponsor of the video so it looks like it was really well and professionally done. And then from there, use that for the content for your website, for your Facebook page. Have them put on their Facebook page. Ask them if you can go ahead and get all the names and information from their Facebook page. And that's a huge thing you can do. I got a decent number of clients in that. Lisa Cole was one of the people we started doing that with, and she does that. I mean, she interviews her janitor for
like once a week, right?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and I think one of the best, like what I love about what you're saying about that content, it's repurposing what they're already doing as a real estate agent. It's leveraging other people who have already created the content. It's not sitting there and trying to brainstorm this master idea of what to do. Yeah. Right. And I think one of the interviews that we really had a lot of success with too, especially recently, is thinking about what keeps parents up at night, especially right now. What's going on with my kid's school, right? So interviewing somebody within the school district, that's gotten a lot of hits. And even asking people before you go live, hey, we're interviewing somebody in XYZ school district. What questions do you have for them? That right there is because, all parents are thinking about that. Heck, I'm thinking about it and I don't even have kids, right?
Point. And, here's the other thing. Virtually every neighborhood has its own neighborhood Facebook page.
Yeah.
And if you were able to not sell on that thing, but go ahead and provide information that would be valuable to them as parents and as with their kids as students, lots of good information you can put on there. You know what I'm saying? Don't sell anything, but just build your credibility and authority there. And then at that point, then you can start leading people over to your page where you can, send them other things. So you're like, here's all the kids that got A's and B's. Here's the schedule for the fall. Here's how to make lunches for a week. Here's, whatever, I'm saying, all the stuff that people need and, safety issues, things of that nature. And, sponsor an event in the neighborhood, just be that local expert that people are looking to add value to their lives. And I think that'll help out a lot too. Right. You can do it. Like I said, it's good to infiltrate other people's lists, when you can. The old day we do a JV, we still do it, right? But the old day we would do a JV with somebody, we'd have a webinar and 19 companies would send their people, everybody would buy, and then we'd pay them the amount of money. Nowadays, you go on to somebody's Facebook page, you can get access to their list like that, and then you're home free. So anyway, and we still do JVs, don't get me wrong, but it's just it's a different animal. So anyway, the important thing is with that list of stuff that I was talking about is that you do it consistently,
Yes.
And like Hollie said, and then also just quick, educational videos, the last thing, educational videos, quick 1 to 3 minute videos from you. Oh, also a monthly market update. Most very important. And you can use that not just for Facebook, but you can also send that out. Like if you got, if you've got a closed loop lead generation platform, you've got couple thousand buyers and sellers that you've been nurturing, you can send that video out to them too on a consistent basis. Right? You put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, send it out to your database, and it's got a ton of power. It's good information,
100%.
So, I mean, that's like the starter set, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why you got to sit down on a Sunday and say, okay, I've got this closing, I've got this listing, I've got, this house went under agreement, so I got to post these 3 things, and then, okay, it's the first of the month, I got to do my market update, and this week I'm going to interview my mortgage guy because interest rates are going up. I want to talk to people about that, and then I found these 4 great articles, and then the other thing is you got to put in your calendar and, be militantly obedient to the time you scheduled in your calendar. I was trying to think of who I was talking to somebody, and they're like, I'm really trying to work my mornings into the point where I can go ahead and get all this stuff in the morning, but I always get busy. I'm like, well, you can't let yourself get busy. Right? That's the whole point. You got to have that militant obedience to your calendar, make that a non-negotiable. And if you have to spend, from 7:30 to 8 every morning, getting your content lined up to go out, and here's the thing, I don't know, like there used to be Hootsuite and TweetDeck and all those other places. Yep. I mean, I don't know what technology is out there now to allow people to schedule things like that. I mean, you would know probably better than I do since that's what you do on a everyday basis. But I mean, there's obviously got to still be social media scheduling technology that allows you to put stuff in schedule and have it posted without you having to do anything.
100%. Like, Facebook has recently integrated Instagram and Facebook. So now you can schedule all your stuff there within the platform. That's how I personally do it. But one place that I want to look at, just because I'm a huge fan of Canva has a scheduler built in too on their pro plan. I just need to sit down and time for it. That way too, you can build out your content, you can build out your graphics, and then from right there in the platform, just schedule it out to go to whatever platform. so that's a to-do. I can't speak from experience, but me personally right now, what works best for me is Facebook, just scheduling it there within the business suite. So you can schedule it out wherever. And it's just super helpful just having it all in one place. Now, granted, I'm also not on Twitter. I'm not posting that somewhere else. So LinkedIn and stuff like that too. So that's something to consider too. Whenever you have multi-platforms, is scheduling them out on there too. So
yeah, right. I mean, if you have zero budget, then you do it all yourself. You schedule it, make it happen. If you got a little bit of money, you hire a VA.
Yep, 100%.
You Fiverr, ReplaceMyself.com, Elance, whatever. There's so many companies that do that. And then when you have enough money, you hire like either a marketing person or you have a full-time admin and make that part of his or her job. I mean, that's kind of the progression, if that makes any sense.
100%.
But you have to do it. Whatever you do, you have to do it.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree.
It's a necessary evil.
Awesome.
You would not be shocked. I'm sure you wouldn't be shocked by the number of people that I get on the phone with every day. They're like, "Oh, my social media sucks. I've got to do a better job," And a lot of times you Google people's names and their name doesn't even, or their companies, and they don't even show up at the top of the search. That's not good. If you're an agent, you can't have that. If somebody Googles your name and your name doesn't come up at the top, it's no bueno.
No, not at all. Yeah. Wally, I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate all the knowledge and.
Oh, did we lose her?
Or, any upcoming programs? Can you hear me?
We can. You're frozen.
Oh, I'm frozen. Sorry. Hopefully my face isn't crazy looking, but
I think I don't know if your face ever could look crazy, but I guess I've never made you mad before.
Awesome. So if you don't mind just sharing like how people can connect with you, work with you. I know you got some great programs coming up. You are obviously, we've been here for a little over 45 minutes and you've dropped value after value after value. You can only imagine what people pay to get that, that next level. So how can people work with you, connect with you?
Sure. So can I share my most recent project? Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. Would love to.
Thanks. Appreciate that. So, believe it or not, is another thing. I suffered from call reluctance for about 10 years. And I was afraid of the phone. And that's why I went and got a job in corporate America, because I just was afraid of picking up the phone. And statistically speaking, 40% of the people who are in sales are actually still have some sort of sales call reluctance or fear. And so I've been doing a lot of research on it lately, and I looked at what I did to overcome it. And it's a passion project for me because I've had many clients in the past who paid us $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month. They got on the phone with me every week and then still wouldn't pick up the phone and make phone calls. And it kind of broke my heart, because I'm like, you're paying me all this money. You want to be a successful real estate, and I can hear the pain in their voices. And then they can't pay their bills and their families are suffering. And it was a huge challenge for me. So over the last couple of years, I've been doing research on what makes people tick and where that fear comes from, and looking at my own life and and coaching and stuff I've gone through. And so I actually created a process to help people overcome sales call reluctance. And so what I'm doing is I got a free course that's going to be available, I believe, next week, which I can send to you or
Please.
Whatever. You can also go to phonesalessecrets.com. I don't think it's up yet. And then there is a Phone Sales Secrets Facebook page that'll be up and running. So I'm a little premature if you want to write that stuff down, but within the next week or so, that'll all be live. I've got lots of guest speakers. Hal Elrod said he was going to speak, and
awesome.
Rick Carson, who wrote 10 Year Gremlin, is going to speak, and then Ken Joslin, who's a certified coach with Uncle G, is going to be there. I'm trying to get in touch with Simon Sinek and Daniel Pink, but that's a little harder than you would imagine. But no, just because I'm drawing my part of my process comes from what those guys are teaching, and then who Lewis Howes is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
so Lewis was on somebody's either podcast or something or live a while back, and he talked about how he had a tremendous amount of success in his life, and that there was still trauma that he had when he was a child that he had to deal with that was keeping him from moving to the next level. And that's a little teaser about how these things work. But anyway, I'd love to help everybody if I can. Again, phonesalessecrets.com, or you can also, check out the Facebook page, Phone Sales Secrets, and then there'll be a free course that'll be coming out. You can check me out on Clubhouse. The information will be on Clubhouse. Some Wally Bressler on there too. So I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super awesome, Wally. I mean, that's personally one thing. I mean, I still struggle with call reluctancy, and it's just, even as a real estate agent, even today, 10 years later. So I think it's something that everyone struggles with.
Mhm.
And if somebody says that they don't, then there's a good chance that they're lying. But,
it's
when I joined the call center. Oh, go ahead.
What's that? What'd you say?
I was deathly afraid of the phone when I joined the call center at first, which makes no sense. I got a job where I'm on the phone all day, and I was deathly afraid of the phone. So, man, that course would have been so helpful, and I know I'm going to be able to get it because we have callers now that we're going to be able to share that with. So, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, some people learned how to swim. Somebody threw them in the deep end of the pool, and they came up, and just through sheer survival and whatnot, they figured it out. The person was near the phone, but a lot of people, you throw them in the deep end of the pool and they sink. You know what I'm saying? Or they start choking and freaking out, and that fear keeps them from trying to survive. And so there are some people who, like you, Nick, I put you on the phone, you hate it, but after a while you're doing it, you can make it happen. But there's a lot of folks, that whole just do it thing just doesn't work for them because, I don't want to take too long and waste a lot of time here, but, we have a sympathetic nervous system that's really attached to our flight or fight mechanism. And if we're not in a situation where we are inclined to fight, then we automatically go to flight. And that's where you get sweaty palms, dry mouth, pounding heart, sick stomach, lightheaded. You start getting those feelings, you know what I'm saying? And so we've just programmed ourselves that way. And I can help you reprogram your brain and make peace, whatever it is that's keeping you from, dealing with your call reluctance. And I'll give one quick example here. So Brian O'Neill is one of our coaching clients. He's also in EXP. He's in the Honey Badger group. And he's 41 years old. He's been a fireman for over 20 years. Has been walking into burning buildings multiple times to save people's lives on a sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? Buildings are literally coming down around him. He's rescuing people. If you see him, he calls himself the tattooed agent. He's got all these have you seen him?
Yeah.
You're working with him, right? Or you're talking?
Yeah. I talk with him.
He's got all these tribal tattoos. He looks like a badass.
Yeah.
I said, okay, man, we got to start putting your prospecting schedule together. He goes, man, I hate the phone. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I'm afraid of the phone. I'm like, you save people's lives on a daily basis. You walk into burning buildings? I said, and you're afraid of something that weighs like eight ounces? He's like, yeah. So I just, I hadn't formalized my process yet, but I said, this is what you have to do. And I put him through the process, and in 60 days, his fear of the phone was gone. And literally in one of his first few weeks of prospecting, he picked up a $500,000 listing from a builder who also has many other homes that he's going to be able to sell, calling FSBOs. So anyway.
That's fantastic.
If I can do it, anyone can do it. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway. So whole point, I really appreciate you letting me share that, and I would love to help anybody who needs help. So
that sounds like something I want to enroll in, Wally. I mean, it sounds amazing.
I'd be happy to do it. Yeah. I mean, you got work to do, and it's gonna stretch you a little bit, but at the end of the day, it'll be helpful. It also helps with procrastination, improving your self-image, overcoming limiting beliefs. It's kind of because you work on one thing, rising tide raises all ships. So yeah, I'd be happy to share that with you.
Awesome. Well, you guys definitely make sure. And Nick, before we head out, do you have anything else you'd like to share or say?
There is.
Oh, you're kind of cutting in and out. It might be your AirPods.
The first part of that.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What were you saying? Do you know sign language? I don't.
All right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So I just want to thank you for coming on the show, adding a bunch of value, and especially now you can.
Yeah, keep rolling.
Oh, okay. No, and thank you for coming on the show, adding the value. And I'm really excited about that course that you're about to drop. I know I'm going to be able to utilize it and give it to other people as well. So really excited about that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I'd love to come back and another time and, wrap up the conversation that we had started about some of the social media strategies. But you guys do, provide an incredible service. And, I try to refer Hollie to my clients anytime I can. And, if I can hop on the phone with you at some point, Nick, and find out a little bit more about what you're doing, even though I know what you do, I'd be happy to send people your way too.
Yeah, I appreciate you all. You're awesome. And I can't wait to the 2.0 of this conversation, because you have so much expertise, knowledge, and as you can tell, you just abundant mindset. And I appreciate you being on. You guys, we'll see you guys next week, the Hollie and Krem show at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Central. Wally, thanks again. You guys have a great one, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.